And keep on keeping on. Degeneration Potion can now finally hit the deck there. Oh, I said plenty of run to go. I mean, it's all relative, right? Even if we die in the next few steps, it was some ways to go at the very least. But you're right, you can tell that I'm starting, that hubris is just continuing to rise at an all-time high here. Triple Orb Spider. I mean, here's what we're gonna do. Swap over to Reflection Amulet. With 28 shielding, let's see what happens. Can still end up taking way more damage than we'd like. Extremely quickly, especially. Ooh, Irradiate is brutal. Hey, my Rat Roach friend. Fortunately, just one Heal Wounds potion, and we managed to get through that son of a gun no problem. And then we'll just tab and let any orbs that come our way get bounced back. At least for a moment there, and then, oh gosh, back to panic. Oh dear lord. But probably can swap back over to our regen amulet now as well. Perfect. Blade Hall can also sometimes have Blade Talisman. It is to encourage people who don't use weapons to venture there. Blade form does not sound very tempting at that point in the game. Yeah, unless they've changed the stats of Blade Hands as well, then I would definitely find myself just agreeing with your sentiment there. So, very interesting, and I like the idea of trying to incentivize non-melee characters to make their way into the Hall of Blades, because, I mean, we've all seen on pretty much every run that I ever do, since I very rarely play melee characters, I completely ignore the Hall of Blades. And it's a cool section of the game. I like the flavor of it a lot, and so I like the idea of making it a bit more feasible. And okay, elementals with me, my friends, with me, and they last just long enough to do nothing in the Arachne fight, but I guess can't really complain at the end of the day, because the real short and skinny of that is that we had no issues whatsoever dealing with our Drider friend. And right back into the mix. Yeah, it wasn't even kind of fully recognizing here that we are on Spider 4. Holy moly. And yeah, those sun moths definitely not kidding around. Fortunately, we have just an absurd number of blinking. So I'm gonna start there. And what's your range, friend? 6? Oh no, it's all the way to 7. Oh, that's cool and fun. Question becomes, do I just burn another blink to play it completely safe here? I probably do, right? Imagine dying with 10 blink scrolls in our inventory. Something that actually my brain noticed quite a bit ago, but I did not comment on out loud. Just an absurd number of blink scrolls this game. I mean, I can burn through them at a ridiculous rate here. Don't you doubt. Don't you worry for a moment. I will find a way to use all those up, but it's definitely many, many more than we're used to having at this stage in the game, and so why not take a bit more advantage of that, shall we? Look at that, how useful. Yeah, that was definitely a big factor in my considerations there, is that even though the sun moths are already faster than us, which, you know, I'm kind of jumping around here, my brain is not following through on its tangents, but I immediately countered what I just said, because at the end of the day, they were faster than us anyway, and we were one hit away. So even with slightly more speed, even with like haste as well, I probably would have been running scared for my life. The bigger question to me, and something I could have potentially checked there, is how effective Fear Scrolls are against Sun Moths. I can't think of their willpower off the top of my head, because that could very easily be an argument for using a Fear Scroll instead of burning through all my blinks at quite prodigious rate. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and we made it through in one piece. And we'll hopefully continue that trend here as we finish off the last bit of the floor. Enchant weapon, I don't see us using any time in the near future. But otherwise, can just blitz through these sons of guns, and that is fantastic. Emperor Scorpion, nice little barometer check there, a litmus test to see how we'll fare in the final little zone. Definitely something to keep in mind is that we're not completely immune to them by any means, or by any stretch of the imagination either. 2 sun moths. I have concerns. In fact, I think I just blast out just to play it on the safe side. Probably not necessary, but again, we saw those energy bolts doing a number on our health earlier, so just to play it safe, let's make sure that we don't die any stupid deaths, shall we? That's the dream at the end of the day here. And fortunately, we've gotten just stupidly lucky with those Moths of Wrath. Every single one we came across in Spider so far has been just on their lonesome, because those buddies are terrifying, especially when you have like 3 berserk wolf spiders around. Jeez Louise. But again, fortunately, not a concern for us. No problems whatsoever. So where do we want to head off to next? It's probably going to be Shoals. I mean, didn't exactly leave you in a state of suspense there for too long, but it was probably pretty obvious from the get-go that Shoals is going to be our next go-to here. And Shoals is on A, of course. A for ocean. Or for an ocean, maybe. As we hear coins being counted. That's going to be an immediate magic map in from me. Looks like we only have one special little portal here. I'm also, normally I like to stay on the stairwell. I decided to take a step forward because the Windrake had the opportunity to just push us off the stairwell anyway, so the safer option there was to just play it on the safe side. And hello, my centaur friend. We did swap over. No, we're still in regen. I potentially want to swap over to our reflection amulet for this area. Let's spend a couple turns waiting to pull out the barbs there, and then we can finish off the rest of you kiddos. And definitely make some space. What I make space with? Maybe all my throwing implements? And again, 4 spaces should be enough. How much money do I even have? Just under 2,000? If I end up having to drop something in there, I could always drop like a single potion of magic. Not a big deal. Staff of Flame, or Wand of Flame, I should say. Yeah, you know what, I think I'm pretty happy hopping in here. And ooh, we could get some of our potions ID'd just by buying. Let's keep that in mind. Some good heal wounds options there as well. But we'll take a peek as to what else we have available, because a Blink Scroll is exactly what I was kind of hoping for. That's an instant buy. And I mean, it's tempting to check out. You know, we have tons of money, nothing to spend it on. Let's check out the armor, shall we? +3 chainmail of fashionability. Well, I do appreciate what you're going for there, armor. I think we could use a little more fashionability here in the dungeon. If you've been looking at what some of our enemies are wearing here, it is embarrassing. But for the moment here, we'll just leave that son of a gun by the wayside, and I'm going to buy some potions just to ID them, especially since this frees up another spot in our inventory, because we can throw away the potions of flight, seeing as how, again, our boots already cover that base, and chances are we'll be keeping those Sons of Guns long term here. If we're not, then we have, you know, much better things going on for us in life, and that's not really a detriment at the end of it all. Okie dokie, off we go. You know, I always talk about krakens in the open water, but the water nymphs also slightly terrifying in their own right, or at least they can be when surrounded by water. You know, we're in their element as it is. Okay, I want to be ready to escape. Turns out I should have just fought from the get-go. Is this character stupidly strong, or have I just not played melee characters in too long and I forgot what it was like to have literally any type of real defensive capabilities? Maybe a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B. Don't I want to look dashing when among all these mermaids? Well, looking dashing is definitely extremely high on my priority list. I mean, currently we're not doing too bad. We have this nice aquamarine hat, nice blue armor. Blue and gold is a pretty solid combo at the end of the day here. The yellow cape is maybe something I wouldn't be wearing if not for the incredible willpower it's giving us. Speaking of Roga, it's looking like, yeah, we're at 3 pips now, so doing pretty solidly on the willpower front. Nothing really to complain about there. I'm guessing the question came about because we got mesmerized, and I didn't even think about it at the time, but in retrospect, yeah, I probably shouldn't expect to be mesmerized very often at 3 pips of willpower. At this stage in the game, that's generally sufficient for any of your willpower needs, as it were. But the game will definitely catch us by surprise and let us like to kill off this Kraken before I escape. I would settle for just killing off a few of these Sons of Guns while we're at it. I guess can kind of just do a mixture of fighting styles here. And there we go. Kraken coming right our way. One final swing does in fact do them in. Almost feel sorry for our poor cephalopod friend, but such is life at the end of the day. And let's just engage in a little bit of a range contest. So these satyrs is exactly why I was debating if we should swap over to our reflection brand amulet. Them, as well as anyone that throws icicle, I think is the spell. But hey, maybe we just won't worry about it. We gone this far without it. Maybe we'll be okay. That's at least my naive optimism speaking at the end of it all. And let us, I think, go back to training Evo now. Invocations will come back on in the background at some stage, some relatively near stage in the future, it would be my guess. But until then, we'll keep mixing around. Throwing is another one of those skills that can also be increased until endgame to give us a decent shot. You know, we have 7 silver javelins, so I'm hopeful that those could do some wonders against Orbs of Fire and Zot, if we manage to live long enough to see that become a problem at the very least. And I don't think... Oh, thank you, game, for stopping me there. I didn't realize we had multiple ID scrolls. Probably just want to drop those Sons of Guns. Auto Explorer saying do not go in deep water. Probably should do something similar on my end, but unfortunately, the number of times that I will value slight increases in quality of life over something that could literally make or break me would definitely be surprising to most people, I'd say, because I am, at the end of it all, one lazy son of a gun, I guess, what it largely boils down to. And exactly, Connells, it's all about the Kraken surprise. It's the only way to enjoy a good Kraken, really, at the end of the day. I wanted to swap armor after Spider. Yes, and I probably should do so, eh? Still begs the question. I guess even just swapping into the base crystal plate armor is a big increase in armor class, so let's do it while floating over the ocean. That seems like the appropriate time to be changing clothes. That's somebody who's never been burned by dropping something into deep water while in mid-task. And yeah, you know what? I have not worn crystal plate armor in an absurdly long time. Looks pretty good. Not a bad look for us here. In fact, the non-matching blues between our armor and hat that we had going for us has now been alleviated. So we have a bit more of a cohesive outfit going on, which I will not complain about. And a ring of willpower could be very nice to have around. Plate armor, poison resistance, I will drop you for now, my friend. Though I've immediately changed my mind, you're going to be a placeholder. You're going to hold that spot in my inventory to save us, again, just mere moments of needing to do so in the future, but many little time make big time, so, you know, with that in mind, might be prudent to go that way for the moment here. So we got, ooh, another shop and another Kraken. Holy moly. That's got to be some kind of record for me already. Also, very considerate of our Kraken friend to completely avoid the alarm trap with their reaching tentacles, so thank you, I appreciate it. There aren't enough gentle squids in the world these days, and you're bucking the trend, friend, and for that, I commend and appreciate you. Okay, barbs could be coming anytime, never mind. No Barbara for us here today. And, oh my gosh, so many shops too. It's a one-of-a-kind shoals. It's a plethora of goods. Didn't even realize there was another shop just off on the horizon there. Fantastic. I also see we have an unexplored stairwell. Where do you lead? Interesting. Ooh, I like the Captain's Cutlass a lot. Not on this character, but I do really like the Captain's Cutlass as a weapon. So that is a bit of a shame that we won't be using it here today, but such is life, I guess. And before we get blown off the stairwell, let's just take you up and then try to kill you. Oh my gosh, there are a lot of windrakes. Hello, friends. This is where it'd be nice to have something like Rampage to just make our job a little bit easier, but never mind. I guess we'll just kill everyone. That works too. When in doubt, that will also do. That'll do. Hello, Cyclops. Where the heck was your herd, my mans? Should also probably stop tabbing because we're just attacking ghosts instead of doing any actual much needed work here. We'll just walk everyone back up to the stairwell though, even though we take a few bumps and bruises doing so. Definitely worth it in the long run. Oh, hello, my Javelineer friend. Okay, that fear, more of an annoyance than anything. In fact, what are your odds of working? 19%. I'm getting feared up the wazoo. Maybe I'm just a bit of a cowardly character. You know, it's easy to tip over into sheer panic. Didn't know I was role-playing myself here today. But okie dokie, with the rest of you kiddos, let's take you on a bit of a walk here. And this is what I was slightly concerned about, was just taking a bit more damage than I'd like. So we're gonna take this this group of friends in some nice little batches here, just to play it on the safe side. Turns out that it probably wasn't completely necessary. We're kind of rampaging here. Oh my gosh, that impaler just took a friendly javelin to the chest. Holy moly. Does Valiant give boost to spell power? I don't believe so. As Connells mentions though, yes, I do have no idea what it does. Besides, it sure tabs alright. Heck yeah. Cool. Well, we hit that Evo skill pretty quickly here. And then what do we wish to do? I guess we didn't talk about just fighting earlier. You know, a lot of chat about invo and throwing as our kind of stalwart skills that will be going until the very end of the game. But in the interim, why not bring fighting up a bit? That seems nice. More health? Seems lovely this time of year. But yeah, my guess that we have not in any way, shape, or form confirmed is that the enchantment rating on that axe goes up when there are scary enemies around. Almost similar to the thermal engine in the way that it gains stacks as the fight goes on. I'm guessing it's a similar mechanic, just with a slightly different underlying flavor to it. But Invo, I would like to keep as my highest skill just for no real reason. I mean, it's definitely amazing to have on Qazlal, but the difference between 2021 probably not going to be a deal breaker, but it's kind of nice. It's very thematic for the character here, so we'll give that a good old college try, shall we? And that should basically be all the enemies if I had to guess. Okay, a couple more little zones down here that we may not have cleared, so fair enough game, but still a huge chunk of the enemies have already come our way, just due to the noise we were making up until now. And how much damage do you do? 33 plus your weapon? I'll step to you. Just because we have high armor class, I'm going to be kind of silly about this. Don't do this at home, kids. In fact, you, my friend, could Avatar Song. 24 damage on our snake friend. Oh, and then some more merfolk coming to support from below here. So let us very carefully and very slowly make our way to the escape hatch, you son of a gun. Okay, bit of healing. We do have a lot of blinking action, and in fact may need to employ that a little bit sooner than I'd like. I guess we also have lots of fear, so in that vein, let's do a quick look-see-loo, shall we? 90% to you, 90%, 9% on everyone. Get on out of here. Scram, kiddos. Okie dokie. Oh yeah, definitely a very, very pious man. That is for sure how people would describe me. Not a religious man, but man of faith in the sense that I have a lot of faith in people, I guess. But it would be nice if it gave bonus to Slain and Spower, so it would be reverse horrified. Yeah, no, definitely would be interesting. I mean, seems to be very much in its lane, as it were, and still already very strong in its own right, but again, I wouldn't know. I'm basically just talking out of my butt with no real knowledge whatsoever, so everything I say should be taken with a grain of salt. I mean, regardless, even outside of this very specific context that we're in at the moment, never trust a Torinski. That's what I've always said. But okie dokie, there we go. Shoals wrapped up as well. Definitely is a fast run, comparatively. So, what do we wish to do next? I guess we'll just be heading to vaults, and hopefully we continue in this general swing of things. Huh. I don't expect these streams to go smoothly. You can tell that my brain is starting to stall and glitch out a little bit. We could go for Elf. My one issue with Elf is we don't currently have resistance to electricity. Even fire. I probably should have fire resistance, at least on hand. Let us do a quick look-see-loo, shall we? I mean, I probably want the willpower as well. Willpower versus fire resistance. both pretty necessary moving forward here, but at least 3 willpower for sure. I guess the question there is that I could just swap over my ring. In fact, let's just do that. Let's find that again, and I will go back for my lovely scarf here. Seeing as how we're probably going to keep the regen amulet for the time being, let's get some repulsion to missiles, just so we're covering our bases there, have nice defensibility across the board. What do I throw away? Wand of Flame. There we go. That makes it easy. Elf After Vaults usually no. Definitely for me, that's the trend I find myself taking. I do feel, just from, you know, general discourse in the chat previously, that a lot of people actually go to elf surprisingly early. For me, it's all a resistance thing. If I had all the resistance I needed, sure, I'll go to elf, especially if I'm still looking for those game-changing treasures. Why the heck not? But more often than not, I find myself waiting out on elf until the point where it can largely be considered a cakewalk, and even then it can have its nasty surprises. Specifically, elf 3 can be a nightmare on basically any character, even if you're otherwise feeling pretty solid about things.